Hey guys, it's Paradise, and if you're a Monster Hunter fan right now, you're probably feeling it just like us. The beta is over, and you just want more Monster Hunter Wilds in your system. But don't worry, if we can't play it, the next best thing is to yap about it with friends. So let's go over some of the things that you didn't even expect were in the game, or things that you may have missed. There were so many things to do and discover in the beta that it would be great to know if you found out anything cool yourself. Before the beta itself, we thought that the Arekkz would be great for transportation and the occasional mount. However, the mad lads over at Capcom have fully integrated some of the core mechanics of the weapons into their dismount attacks. One of the coolest examples of this is that if you time the dismount attack of the longsword, it will actually become another counter that levels up your spirit gauge, making it the perfect way to start an engagement. Once you learn the window for this as well, it gets pretty easy to pull off, and you just want to place your Arekkz in a position where you know you're about to get attacked and then line it up. It's absolutely awesome to pull off. The locales in Wilds are of course much larger than in previous games, and there is a thing in some games where when they increase the size of the world, it loses a bit of its charm and interactive nature. But something that we love about Monster Hunter was always discovering new places, and it seems that Wilds is going to retain this, as there was an area that many of you may have missed if you purely focused on hunting. On the way to the Raydal Nest near Area 16, there's a little cave that you could crawl through that would give you access to an awesome area that you could climb up with wedge beetles, which reminds us of the Coral Highlands from Worlds, which was one of our favorite areas. If you ascend the cliff, you'll come across various nodes where you can mine ore, making it a great place to keep note of in the final game. But the standout thing of this area is that it gives you an awesome vista of the Windswood Plains Desert, making it perfect for photo mode when that is enabled. A few of the weapons also had dual-purpose focus mode interactions, allowing you to do different things depending on the scenario. A good example of this is that the hammer allows you to charge up your next attack while in focus mode, which acts as a buffer during its focus strike. On top of this, some weapons had alternate versions of their focus strike when in aerial, like the insect glaive or the sword and shield. However, one of the weapons that surprised us by having an aerial version of its focus strike is the greatsword, and it completely changes the animation. This was posted in one of the Monster Hunter Discords and shows the focus mode attack in action. The animation looks very similar to that of the tenderizing animation from Iceborne, so it's going to be very interesting to discover what else there is in the game. With Monster Hunter's online systems becoming more in-depth, and players needing to communicate with each other in various ways, emotes have come in clutch as both a fun and simple way to communicate. An awesome new addition to the emote system in Wilds is that it seems that most of the emotes are now much less static, allowing you to use them even while on the move. The animation of the emotes will dynamically take into action your movement and adopt them into a new moving version, meaning when you're walking or running, you can do some wacky things. World and Iceborne in the end got some pretty crazy emotes, so we can't wait to see what Capcom has in store for us in the final game and those post-release updates. In the beta, there was one that stood out to us as it was just so cool, the fireworks emote. I would expect this one to be ultra simple, but it actually has different firework animations that it can produce. The palicos even react to them, and it can be tied to your menu for extra epicness even when hunting. But talking about things that set things alight, a very cool aspect of the gun lance that we spoke about in the new move guide is something that some of you may have missed. The gun lance is actually able to set grass on fire. This will then propagate slightly and cause some damage to certain monsters that are sitting in the fire, making it a very cool and dynamic addition to the game. There was also something pointed out in the dev streams, and we didn't notice just how powerful it would be for hunts, is the Hook Slinger. The Hook Slinger is really cool because it lets us have access to a hidden menu that you can use to auto-gather, including on your Arekkz. All you have to do is focus, and then you're able to scroll through any of the items in the area nearby. After finding the one that you like, you just press circle, and your character will grab it without having to directly aim at anything. We don't have many clear examples of this, but it can even be used on rocks and environmental traps when fighting to quickly trigger them even if you're not looking at them. It's going to be crazy in the hands of players once we get used to it, so this is something to take note of. Capcom's attention to detail in Wilds has been crazy, and something that we've been nerding out over here at Arekkz Gaming is simply the walking animations. We know this isn't some mind-blowing gameplay impactful thing, but for us it really adds to the immersion of the world and it just looks cool. The game has a variety of different walking animations for different terrain types, and the thing that gets us about them is just how bespoke each of the animations look and how natural they are. Whether you're just walking with a buddy through grass, wading through waist-high water, or traversing the rocky terrain of Raydal's Nest, they all have unique and detailed animations, which is awesome. While it's not a feature per se, it's crazy how close you can get to some of the monsters without wearing a Ghillie Mantle now. In the beta, we were able to walk directly up to a Chatacabra that was praising the sun and observe it. It's awesome to see the hunter automatically tilt their head to follow and look where the monster's going as well. Next, you guys know I love my endemic life, and there was actually a rare little creature that you could capture in the desert area of the map. This little blue mouse thing would be spotted if you got lucky, and it was super hard to capture. I didn't actually manage to get it myself in the beta, but supposedly you can use a sonic pod to stun it, making it easier to capture for yourself. Another thing you may have missed in the beta is actually the addition of a somewhat secret ingredient, which you could get by talking to a specific NPC. This is the cheese that we've heard so much about in previous interviews and details about the game. You could actually cook with this too, and it would add the cheese to the cooking animation, where it would literally melt and pull apart when the hunter eats it. Now, the Switch Axe in Monster Hunter Wilds has received some pretty cool new moves across its moveset, and has really made it feel like one of the best iterations of the Switch Axe in recent games. Well, the new Sword Mode's counter Rising Slash has a cool interaction with monster roars. If you time it correctly, you can actually skip the flinch that you would normally get. It won't ding and allow for follow-ups, but it is a faster way to keep attacking the monster even while it roars, instead of getting flinched like normal. But do you have any other cool things that you found out in the beta? Tell us down below so we can all learn together and just talk about Wilds until we get another beta. But make sure you are subscribed below, because we will have more Monster Hunter and videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.